My name is Chelsea Barnes. I'm the Director of Government Affairs and Strategy at Appalachian Voices. I'm based here in our Norton, Virginia office. I lead our congressional work, and this week we've got a big one. So we do these weekly calls, Holler at Congress, every week on Thursday because we know that there is a lot going on in the federal space. We've got the Department of Government Efficiency, quasi-governmental agency, rapidly transforming the federal government. At the same time, Congress is working on multiple legislative vehicles to fund the government, make sweeping changes to energy and tax policy, as well as healthcare, food benefits, pretty much touches every aspect of American life. So all this is to say there's a lot going on, and we know that one of the most effective things that people can do is to just simply call their members of Congress. We know that calls are so much more effective than emails. Call your members of Congress, tell them what you're concerned about. And if we are all calling about the same thing, we're making a bigger impact. So this is our effort to do a little bit of focused calling into Congress. Each week we're picking something that we are concerned about and making calls together. If you can't make this Thursday time slot, or if you've got friends that love calling Congress too, and they can't make this time slot, we have a toolkit that we will share in the chat that you can send around. It has phone numbers, website forms, Twitter handles, or whatever they're called now, everything that you need to make an impact on our issues. So with that, I'm gonna jump in on our issue of the week, and also share my screen if I can get it going. Give me 1 second. We should have practiced this. Okay. All right, can folks see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So this week, there's been a lot of news about this. You may have seen the Republicans have a majority in Congress in both the House, the Senate, and obviously the presidency. And that unlocks a special tool they can use called budget reconciliation that can bypass the Senate filibuster. They only need 51 votes in the Senate, and allows them to pass things basically on a party line vote. So they've been working on this budget reconciliation bill for a while, and it now has a name. It's called the Renewing the American Dream Act. And there are strict rules around how you can get around the filibuster on the Senate side, that this piece of legislation that they're trying to pass on a party line basis can only be related to government spending, revenues, or the federal debt. So it can't be focused simply on policy. It has to be budget related. So it is a tool that is often used for the majority party priorities because they can do it on a party line basis, and that's what we're calling about today. So unfortunately, as the bill text has been released in pieces over the last couple of weeks, there are a lot of really problematic pieces of the bill. One that we're particularly alarmed about is that the bill would allow for pipeline drilling and mining companies to simply pay a fee to skip permitting processes, or streamline permitting processes, or a number of different similar provisions, basically bypass environmental laws that are in place to protect people, health, and safety simply by paying an extra fee. So this sends the message that if you have enough money, the laws don't apply to you. It also requires a 25% increase to timber harvests on national forest land, mandates $4 million, or excuse me, mandates more coal mining on 4 million acres of land in the United States public land, and also mandates quarterly lease sales of public lands to oil and gas companies in any state where there is land available for oil and gas leasing. Next, it also repeals the residential energy tax credits that are in place, helping communities save money on their electricity bills, reducing demand on the grid, and also keeping energy prices lower. It also makes big changes to the commercial tax credits, making them unusable for most solar companies, and phases them out 5 years earlier for those companies that somehow can work around the rules to make the tax credits work. The bill repeals and rescinds funding for numerous pollution reduction programs, including for low-income schools, programs for clean energy and climate resiliency. And it limits food access and for low-income people and Medicaid health care for low-income people. All this so that they can extend tax rates for the wealthiest people in the country. We have some resources available to show the breakdown of that, which I think is on my next slide here. Yes, this is kind of the breakdown of the tax credits that the tax breaks that Congress is trying to enact as part of this bill, and shows that it goes to primarily to the richest people in the country. We can also share this link in the chat, Kevin or Quentin, if you've got a minute. We also know that repealing the tax credits, the clean energy tax credits, will increase electricity prices across the country between 7 and 10.5%, depending on what kind of customer you are. Those tax credits for clean energy are keeping prices down for everyone, even if you can't directly install solar panels on your home, because it's reducing the price of these electricity resources. It's lowering prices for everyone. And specific to the health and food benefits, we know that in Central Appalachia, especially, people are very reliant on these resources. So about 20% of people in Central Appalachia receive SNAP benefits that are now at risk, and about 40% of adults in Central Appalachia have coverage through Medicaid. These are just a couple numbers to share. Basically, this is a region that is highly dependent on those services, and those are now at risk in this bill as well. So that was a lot. Please pop in questions in the chat if you have any, and we will certainly take questions once I get through this part. But just in terms of what's happening now, as I mentioned, the House committees over the last couple of weeks and early this week have been releasing their components of the bill that are in their jurisdiction, and the House Rules Committee will then package all these together. So we basically have just now been seeing bill text, and then the House Rules Committee will meet on Monday, is currently scheduled, to package all these things together into one bill that then the leadership in the House is hoping to vote on later next week. And then the bill still has to go to the Senate, where it is likely to undergo many changes. But this is a really critical time to be calling members of Congress and telling them what you're concerned about within this bill, and to simply to vote no at this stage. So we are making calls. First, we want folks to call your representative, because that's where the bill is actively being considered over the next week. But it's also worth calling your senators, as the senators play an important role in this process. Our toolkit, which we'll drop in the chat if we haven't already, can help you find the email addresses, contact forms, but we really do want to make calls together now. That's our goal here in this noon hour, is to make calls on the Capitol switchboard number, because we know those are the most impactful. You might get a voicemail, you might get a staffer. Either way, you can leave a message on a voicemail or leave a message with the staffer. You may be asked for your address, a phone number, things like that. So they want to verify that you're a constituent, and also be able to call you back or email you back information about your representatives' positions on these issues. So I've got the script up on the screen now. I'm going to pause here and look at questions in the chat, see if there's anything else I need to address. Kevin or Quentin, if I missed anything important, please also jump in and add it. I have not seen a build number yet. It could be that it has one, but I haven't seen it. Okay, Quentin says that hasn't been combined yet. So right now, when we are making calls, we're just calling it the Renewing the American Dream Act, because that's the only thing we have for reference at this point. Kara, I do think it is effective to pull out specific talking points. A lot of times if you're just calling and saying, I oppose this bill, that's not as, I think it's more impactful if you say, because so many people in my community rely on this healthcare, or because it's reducing electricity prices. I do think that makes more of an impact. But oftentimes when staffers are basically taking notes on who's calling and what they're saying, they're not taking down that much information. But I think every little bit helps. Yes, you can share the toolkit with other people you know. It should be shareable broadly to anyone that has the link. All right, the toolkit is in there. We can also drop the congressional switchboard number in the chat for easy access. I'm gonna briefly go back if I can find the go back slide, or how about somebody, Quentin, or okay, thank you. So, all right, the switchboard number is now in there. Basically, you'll just call that number and go through to find your representative. And if you don't know how to find or you're not sure who your representative is, there's also a tool in the toolkit to help you identify who your members of Congress are. And I'm gonna pause there, and everyone please make calls and add into the chat what you're hearing, if you're getting an answer, who you're calling, what the staff is saying, anything like that that would be helpful for people to know. So with that, I'm gonna go on mute and make calls myself. Thanks, everyone.